Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing? I hope everybody's well today. It is ridiculously hot here today. I am in the shade, thankfully, but apparently it's 29 degrees outside. So that probably explains why I am feeling so sluggish today. There we go. Oh, I haven't got my light on. Plugged in. This is a light for gluing models together, and I'm using it as a what do you call it? One of these. There we go. It makes absolutely no difference whatsoever, but there we go. Right, let's just make some space for it. There's a fan there, which I'm not going to put on, otherwise all you'll hear is fut. So, welcome back. If you missed yesterday, and for people on Facebook, I apologise. Basically, Facebook for some reason. I use my background music. I use something called Stream Beats, and they're really, really good because they allow you to stream. Use it for background for streams on YouTube. And for some reason, Facebook thought that there was a copyright violation and cut off the video. So if you were watching on Facebook, the good news is the replay is up. You can catch it either on the YouTube. The YouTube. I'm looking at my microphone instead of my camera today. That's the kind of day it is today. Yeah, you can catch it on YouTube, or you can read the entire story with video playback and a little bit of analysis as well. Gosh, that's on my website. So you can go to www.adrianfaulkner.com, as is spelled on my Twitch channel, and read the story. You'll see it there, chapter 1 of the first draft. So for people just joining us, to let you know what the first draft is, I work as a writer. I write a number of things, including novels, short stories. I don't do scripts commercially yet, but I have written a few scripts. And I write for video games as well. And one of the things I felt that was really, really missing from kind of the YouTube space and from the whole writing community is that writers are really precious about their first drafts. So I thought, well, it would be fun to write a story where everything is the first draft. You get to see the first draft. You get to see the first draft being written. You see all the mistakes, the typos, the clunky sentences, everything. But because, it's a story that I don't want to say I don't care about, but I don't mean that at all, because I do care about everything I write. It's a story I'm purely interested in the scope of this project. So I'm not looking to turn this into a novel, because if I was, I might want to not show this to anybody, because I might not be able to sell it. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to write a story and literally kind of give you a peek behind the curtains. So yesterday we wrote chapter 1. We had it was a tough. It took a lot longer than I thought. What we had to do was we had to establish the characters, set up the situation, introduce the world, and start the action. And we had 5 main characters, so it was a lot of juggling, and I did worry about character overload. I looked over it. Do you know what? I'll be honest. If I was whenever you start a new story, it takes you a long while to get into the flow of the characters. And so I always rewrite beginnings. Always doing it. Now, we can't do that in the first draft because we write it, we publish it on the website. So, and the reason we kind of republish it is because, if you like, chapter 1 makes a promise, if you like, and the end of the story delivers it on. So you're literally saying, with the first chapter, this is what to expect. And even if there's twists and turns, you're kind of still setting things up. You want somebody, you really want your last chapter sometimes to kind of link back to your first chapter somehow. So that the story kind of has that full cycle. So they're difficult. And then when you go on, you basically, you will, you will get a better idea of what the story is about and the characters and what they're doing and things like that. So, chapter 2 today. I can tell you today I am feeling really sluggish. I am not feeling it today. Yesterday I was super productive. I did 5,000 words on numerous projects, as well as videos, as well as live streams. Got tons done. Today I've done about 1,600 words so far, so let's hope we can nut this up. So, chapter 2. If you know what I've said, is I always want to I want to have 2 scenes ahead of me. So, this chapter, what we want it to happen is it's about the after effects. Right? The question is, do we show their powers? And this is always a good idea when you're about to write a chapter. Sometimes it just comes naturally. But as I'm not feeling it today, I'm just feeling a bit sluggish. It's one of those days where you just think, oh, do I want to write? I mean, I have to. But, so this is how you get through it. So we're gonna start off with in the swamp. We want some character interaction. I think this chapter is all about character. It's all about getting to know those characters better. So we can have a bit of fun with this. Swamp, is it bog? Bog. Character interaction. Actually, I'm gonna blow this up to size 18 so you can see it because it's so small on the screen. There we go. So there, in the bog, there's character interaction. Do we open a portal? I'm debating that. Because we want to introduce that idea that the crystal now opens the portal. And we don't want it to give powers to anybody else who touches it. So, we're going to have to explain that away. Crystal now inactive. I have an idea that maybe we can have Jax kind of start trying to touch it. And everybody's like, no, don't do that. Look what just happened. We might have a portal get created. And then we're going to have the leads troops show up. So a lot less needs to happen in this. This is probably going to be a shorter chapter. Last chapter was 1,600 words. This one is probably going to be nearer 1,000. So that's fine. That's all we need to achieve here. Now the question is, whose point of view are we going to have? And I think Marley. The reason I think Marley is Marley's kind of the leader of the group. And so I think that we it would be good to show her point of view. And plus her father is the lord that we're going to see. So we can kind of play that. So okay, let's dive into it. If we remember, let's just remind ourselves. Sometimes this is a good idea. Let's just read the last few paragraphs. Just get this it gives us a feel of the flow of the story. So they found the crystal. So it took them a good few minutes with even Marley jumping in to help them. But they managed to free the item and bring it to the surface. It's some sort of crystal giant. Gina commented as she helped drag the item onto the bank. It looked like no crystal Redjan had ever seen. Put that comma there. See, I'm finding it's sometimes a good idea to go back over a little bit because sometimes you'll find these mistakes. But it's too late now because it's already on the website. It was the size of a small pig and it glowed blue. I don't think we should touch it until the professor has got a look at it, Marley said as the device seemed to pulse with light. We seem to have disturbed it. Seen twice. There we go. Do you think this is what the professor was looking for? Gina asked. Drummond was busy clearing a bit of peat and muck from the surface so he could see it better. The crystal seemed to pulse with increasing regularity. It looks like some sort of container. Oh, there we go. I've done some things to set up there. That's good. That's good to remember. What I've done there is I've said that the outside is what's given them the powers. If that was disintegrated in the blast, nobody else can get powers. So that's good. I still think we should leave it alone. Stop worrying, Marley, said Jax. What's the worst? There was a pulse of blue light that seemed to explode out of the crystal. The explosion of light hit... God, I used light twice there as well. Hit Redjan in the chest with the force of a charging deer. The last thing he remembered was being thrown backwards before everything turned black. So let's jump into Marley's point of view here. Say puddle. I'm just going to take that out. Luck was laying in water. Someone was talking to her and she blinked her eyes, trying. I don't like that as sentences. It doesn't make sense having those things together. Someone was talking to her. Sometimes you just go, do you know what? Just keep it simple. Into a tree. Okay. Trying to convey a few things here. Things could be in the wrong place here. Gonna go back and read it again. Marley was vaguely aware that she was laying in water. Someone was talking to her. She blinked her eyes open, trying to focus. Marley, Gina said, coming into view. She was She was standing over her with a concerned look on her face. It was dark, the night sky clear. She shivered from the cold and wet. What happened? She said, scratching her head. It felt like she had run headlong into aching head. Okay, so just kind of trying to set the scene. We've cast it forward. What happened? She said, scratching her aching head. It felt like she had run headlong into a tree. She cast her mind back, trying to recount events. The crystal, Gina said. It exploded. Molly sat up, her head spinning as she did so. How long have I been... Gina shrugged, offering a hand to get to her feet. Not sure, she replied. We were all knocked out. So now what we want to try and do is we've kind of established the situation. Now what we want to do is establish like some of Marley's character there. I tend to write, "Good morning, Birdie. How are you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Here in the UK, it is the afternoon and it is ridiculously hot." If you just joined us, we are writing chapter 2. Just trying to establish Marley as a sympathetic character, as the person in charge. So it's too early for things to be great. I'll keep you updated. Plenty of coffee or caffeine, trust me. That helps. I'm the same. Literally, I have a busy day, and literally in my planner, I really need to have like 2 hours, which is to wake up. It's not effective. Birdie, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Caffeine is no good for me. Do you know something? Actually, I'm gonna make a. This is not an endorsement. Like literally, I drink far too much caffeine, and I need to come off of it. But I'm like a bear with a sore head when I'm coming off caffeine. But a bacon and egg sandwich, oh my god. I mean, admittedly, it's 3:30 in the afternoon here, but I would kill for a bacon and egg sandwich. Thank you for writing. That's fine. That's fine. Ask questions, make suggestions, just join in. If you've not read the first part, over on my website, I have got I've got all the planning sessions with video replay. I've got the first chapter with video replay as well. So just join in, ask questions if you're a writer and you've got questions about craft that you want to ask away. The whole idea behind this is to kind of show behind the scenes, try and demystify things a little bit. I've not read the first part. I just stumbled in. Oh, cool. Cool. So basically, what we are doing is the idea is to create a web serial. So like a thing with an episode. And at the moment we're doing tell me about the story. I will tell you about the story. So basically, I have a whole section here. Look at that. So we did this. So the basic idea is that years ago, an advanced civilization set up a colony on a planet. They used wormhole technology to travel great distances, which temporarily tears holes in the fabric of space. Okay, so think Star Trek-y thing. One of these tears opened a portal to another realm filled with demonic alien creatures. They nearly wiped out the entire civilization. They had to destroy their fossil-like capability, and as such, the colony forgot about their heritage over thousands of years. This is from the original. This might be a mix of traditional medieval fantasy, and because we can do less commercial ideas. And are you using Kindle Vella? No. Do you know, I would love to use Kindle Vella, and I actually looked into it. When it was first announced, when I was planning this, I was like, oh, Kindle Vella would be a perfect venue for this. And it's not out here in the UK yet. So I'm doing it all on the website. I might do a Kindle Vella project. I mean, the main aim of this, if I was doing something on Kindle Vella, I'd do like a second and third draft. The idea behind this is to kind of get over that fear of a shitty first draft. So it's to say, well, look, everybody's first draft is shitty. So anyway, as a story, so we can mix things up because we are not going for traditional publishing. We can have a weird western and things like that. So an archaeologist finds the remains of the wormhole technology and brings it to the colonies, now pseudo-fantasy civilization, and their aristocrats. They can find it can open holes in space to other realms and use this to send their troops through to steal riches and natural resources. It also gives people strange magical abilities. So a strange man turns up, which we've now merged with the archaeologist, who is part of the old civilization, has knowledge the colony does not. He warns them not to open portals, but they expel him from the city to the farms and continue to open portals. As a result, the army goes into a realm where the big bad is waiting. They wipe them out, and our big bad streams through. The big bad might be conscripting people themselves, their own first draft, but there needs to be a steep price to pay. The aristocrats lock up the cities and abandon. We did all this on stream, kind of planned it all out. The strange man recruits the local villagers, i.e. becoming the first draft, to help defend the locals. He needs them to go through the latest portal and destroy it. They do this, but in doing so, the portal closes behind them, leaving them stuck in a new world. They need to find their way back, save their world, and put an end to the big bad. And then we did some stuff on all the different worlds, what the advanced civilization was, the medieval world, portal fantasy. All this is on the website, so you can kind of go through it. And then we went through the characters. I did change some of the names. I haven't put this online at the moment because I am gonna try and have some character bios. So, do you write yourself, Birdie? If you do, what is it you write? I'd say join the prompt night I do, but it might be an inconvenient hour for you. The whole thing is getting over the fear of the first draft. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I want to try and do. You know, I think I've got nothing against self-pub. I've done it. Well, it's now called indie publishing there. I've done small press. I've worked with a lot of big publishers, but I have not been published by them yet. So, and I've know a lot of self-published authors, and I think that, you know, those people who are doing it properly, there's a lot of quality that goes into it, and there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. But I also think that that sometimes we think our first drafts are worse than they are, and that the average reader kind of glances over the typos and the mistakes. That I don't want to have those there because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. But if that's getting in the way of actually getting something written, then it needs to be sort of changed. Just a little bit, but I'm an editor at heart. Oh, you're one of the most precious people in the world. Yeah. An editor at heart, yeah. When do you do your prompt night? Do you do it on Twitch or is it thing? Tell me about your thing as I try and write a few more sentences down. Clumsy sentence, but no, that's horrible. I hate that sentence. Yeah, I still finish it off. I can't. In the dark. So one of the things I mentioned was that I am having one of those days when the words feel like treacle. So might explain why my sentences are a little bit shorter and a little bit less, I was going to say glamorous. The Drakness. I need a new keyboard because I just literally type everything in all the letters in the wrong order. Yeah, God, I can't. What I've done is, because I've got this light here, I've moved everything across. So. Although. Right, oh. Birdie, another streamer hosts it, but at 11 p.m. Eastern. So 11 p.m. Eastern, it is 5 hours. So it'd be 4 a.m. Yeah, I'd probably be fast asleep. I might be able to make it one time. A good sized group of writers get together and write for an hour based on the prompt. We get anywhere between 3 and 5 submissions a week. Then everything is read out on stream and then and there. I love that idea. If you can't make a stream, we invite people to participate as convenient in the Discord server. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I would. That sounds awesome. Let me know the details. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know if you can post links or you have the ability to post links. Because to be quite honest, I'm a little bit of noob when it comes to Streamlabs. But if you've got a link or want to promote it, if you can't do it through I will help. I will retweet it or re-thing. The more resources there are, the better. I love that idea. That's really cool. Okay, cool. Let me do that. I am. Apologies for opening up. There we go. Five. There we go. I'm trying to see where it is, and I've just going to try and find it and then tweet it out. But anyway, if anybody else is watching, I will find it and I will tweet it out. Follow Birdie at 25, everybody. I will find it and we'll tweet it out later. I just suddenly thought of something in this story, is that we've still got our Faster Than Life, the crystal's gone, but there is still the the blue glow. Oh, cool. Likewise, sure. As I say, I don't think I've done anything. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. So I've just made some changes because I thought the crystal will still glow. What my Twitter is @figures. Should be on all my links. Should be all on my about page or on my. So one of the things that's really handy to do sometimes, like sometimes I would want to write oh, destroy chat. No problem. No problem at all. Just ask. Okay, so one of the things here to kind of take in mind, if you're writing fantasy, it's like, I want to write thank God. And maybe they have a different religion. We're not going to dive into their religion much, but sometimes it's handy to kind of just play with that a little bit. Just have some kind of, if you think of like in your own life, the kind of phrases that you use all the time that are kind of originate in religion, even if you're not religious yourself, you know, you might blaspheme, you might say, oh, Jesus, or even G's, you know, which is kind of a non-blasphemous version. So, having these little kind of phrases, I think you can overdo it, you know, Battlestar Galactica did it pretty well, but when it was like, wasn't they use frag or frig instead of fuck? And some writers, I mean, I can understand that. Some people don't like bad language. However, I think that if you're writing a multitude of characters, it's fine to have a character that does swear as much as it is to have somebody who doesn't. So it sort of mix it up a little bit. So sometimes what you can do is, instead of was thank God, well, okay, maybe they have a different religion there, and you don't have to go into it. You know, you can have thank the Almighty, thank the All-Father, the yeah, subtle world building through dialogue. I'm about it. Yep. I just always have these little, with each world that I do, I have you know, like thank the goddess, everything, you know, one of the commercial projects I'm working on at the moment. I'm literally just pulling this out of my backside. Thank the Moon Father. So this culture here, we've kind of made it kind of very kind of Scottish. Scottish Highlands. Just for something a little bit different, you know, still from the real world. really interesting thing I'm noticing, and I'm afraid to research it actually, because I find that I always typo on my right hand side. Gotta go to my day job. Have a wonderful stream. See you around. You too, Birdie. Hope you enjoyed your bacon and egg sandwich, and I will definitely check out your Discord and thing. So cool. I didn't know it was going. I didn't know. So this is a little bit of kind of fun here. We can have a bit of fun with the characters. Thank the Moonfather. She heard Red shout back. I'm gonna kill Jax. Wasn't my fault. The boy's voice shouted back. You touched the crystal. I didn't know it was gonna explode. Did I? Sometimes I tend to act it out a little bit. Bit more steady. I don't like that I've used 2 mores there. The leg's no longer feeling like jelly. They wouldn't have jelly there, so let's say spawn. Legs. Yeah, no, the thing I'm noticing that's happening is literally I make all the typos with my right hand. Now, I do have, with my glasses, I do have like a lazy eye that side. Yeah, lazy eye that side. Which does mean that, like, things, my judgment of anything on this side is a little bit off. But it does mean that I kind of really make a load of typos on this side. So the point of I'm not as happy today with these. I'm trying to show a little bit of character, a little bit of character interaction. It's very tempting to make the search for Drummond a big thing. I think we've flogged that horse enough. Thinking his head was. I'm trying to have a little bit of fun here. This may not work. Sometimes you got to try and follow these things, see how they go, and then you kind of fix them. It's not supposed to have a sense of humour, Drummond. Maybe. Laughed is the wrong word. They've got a little bit too much of a modern language at the moment, which I'm not liking. How old is Drummond? Let's have a look. Late 30s. I may have aged him a bit, but that's okay. Barely Anna. I want to say he ever had fun, and that's a clumsy sentence, so I don't want to change that. Even knew the meaning. So I'm trying to build the dynamic between these two, the tension, the conflict. Now, little trick here. So you'll notice when we wrote in the other chapter, the last chapter, we called Red Redogen, as we described him. Yet here, we're calling him Red, and that is because we are changing the point of view. So, kind of in Marley's head. So here, I think that we could write something about, we can give some more world building. This is a good opportunity. This is a natural place to put it. So let's put a little bit about their situation here. I may take these headphones off because the music is not working for me at the moment. I'm gonna. It sounds very weird. I don't know if I can do it because I usually need music. So there's part of me that, that thinks, oh, I should save these secrets for later. But they discuss these. It's common knowledge. Why are you in there? notice this. We make these adjustments now. Yeah, because Gina's in her 20s. She needs to be older than Gina. She needs to be like the bigger sister. I'm looking at the wrong bit. I have to spell it. Right spelling. This is what I will do. Is I will. There we go. This is what I'm instead of saying like 5 years ago, 5 summers ago. We're trying to build a little bit of a thing, so we're trying to say. Okay, this is working better for me, I think. So we're gonna read back through it in a little bit. This feels a little bit clunky. This is the type of chapter I would redo. Although sometimes when you look back at it, it's not as bad as you think. So I'm building some of the threat here to say, look, it's not an easy life, and that, you know, it's not as carefree. I've had a lot of Gina. No, he won't. Let's make it. This is. I'm going into something with a bit with Jax here. Moving into the portal bit, and I'm also trying to do the. Trying to give a little bit of history here, and we set up this thing with the crack K. Feel free to ask questions if you think anything. You have a craft question. Jax was right, and Marley noticed instead of being shaped like a crystal, like I don't like the double like. Wrong. I don't. again. Ugh, I am hating what I'm writing. Chips of the crystal they found. It was now just. Okay. Right. We're just setting up the portal bit now. So, right. Just describe. Do. So I'm noticing like we're getting to 1200 words, and not just more to do with time, but more because of the flow of the story. I feel like the tear basically what we're going to do is this portal is maybe needs to have a bit of time to itself. We need to establish the portal. Let's just finish this. Right, a little bit of ominousness. Ominousness? Is that even a word? Right, so let's go through this. Okay. So, what we have done, we've changed this around, and this is something you will find as you go through things, is that sometimes a chapter is not as big as you think, sometimes it's bigger than you think. So the idea between kind of having two, planning two scenes ahead, may be that the tear and the soldiers, it merges into the whole thing with Lord Quentin. It may be that we may do that. But it just felt like this was kind of, in terms of the pace of the story, you know, the chapters are around 1,500 words long. It feels like it's a good point because it means we can give time to the portal, which helps establish the story. So let's go over this and try and do a quick bit of editing before we finish. So this will take us a little bit. Marley was vaguely aware that she was laying in water. Someone was talking to her. She blinked her eyes open, trying to focus. Seems fine so far. With a lot of these things, when it comes to editing, reading it and reading it aloud can really help, because that will help you find clunky sentences. However, I can guarantee you, I will read this now. If I read through yesterday's, I can find loads of things I missed all the time. That's why when you get a published book and you open it, I'm going to put the headphones back on because it gives me a little bit of a streaming vibe. There we go. So when you look at a traditional book, you will often open it and there will be a typo and you think, how did that get past? Honestly, you miss them so easily. So let's do it. Marley, Gina said, coming into view. She was standing over her with a concerned look on her face. Seems fine. It was dark, the night sky clear. She shivered from the cold and wet. What happened? Who's she? What happened? She said, scratching her aching head. It felt like she had run headlong into a tree. She cast her mind back, trying to recount events. We don't. Maybe you can get rid of that. Because the next sentence kind of does that. The crystal, it exploded. We can add remember. Marley sat up, her head spinning as she did so. How long have I been out? Gina shrugged, offering a hand to... Just trying to get Marley to her feet. Not sure, she replied. We were all knocked out. All? Marley, let's just... Marley ignored the pain in her head and took unsteady steps forward. Is everyone okay? She asked as Gina helped steady. She's asked. So she's taking unsteady. We've established that there, so we don't need that again. Is everyone okay? She asked. I think so, Gina said. We're still looking for Drummond. Looking. We were thrown pretty far apart, Gina. Gina pointed to a point on the wall. I walk over there. Marley looked into the distance and could make out the blue glow of what she assumed was the crystal. Where are the others? Out there, Gina said, again pointing into an area of darkness, looking for Drummond. Marley listened and could faintly hear through her ringing ears the shouts of others. Drummond! Drummond! Marley tried to move in the direction of the shouts. Easy, said Gina. There's pools everywhere. Jax has already fallen in twice. As much as Drummond annoyed her, he was still part of the... Could annoy her. He was still part of their little enclave. If anything happened to him... She let Gina guide her in the direction of the voices. Red, she called out. I got Marley. Thank the Moonfather, she heard. Do we think we should have Marley's name called up here as well? Let's just leave it at Drummond, because Red, she called out. I've got. Red, she called out. I've got Marley. Thank the Moonfather, she heard Red shout back. I'm going to kill Jax. It wasn't my fault, the boy's voice shouted back. He's the fun character to write as Jax. I'm already noticing that. You touched the crystal. I didn't know it was going to explode, did I? And if you hadn't noticed, I got thrown the furthest. Guys, Marley said, cut the chat and find Drummond. Her legs no longer feeling like frog spawn and more herself. Her head clearing. Legs no. Tried to take charge of the situation. Let's make sure we're not wandering around aimlessly. Create a line and fan out. They gathered by the crystal as the only source of light on an otherwise pitch black moor. Jax's face was blackened, although Marley did not know if this was from the explosion or from landing face first in the mud at the side of one of the pools. How are you feeling? Regina asked her. He looked concerned. My head feels like it was hit with an anvil, she said. But otherwise I'm good. Like us all then. I don't think he needs to say he said. Ow. Unsurprising, huffed Gina. We were just blown up. They found Drummond submerged up to his waist in a little pool. His head was laid back against the side of the bank and his breathing was making a strange sound. Is he snoring? Gina asked. How can he be asleep? Jax protested. We were all knocked out and he's having a nap. Shame he didn't land the other way up, Gina said. Would have saved us a lot of hassle. Gina! Marley snapped. That's not nice. In response, Drummond opened one eye. Love you too, Gina said dryly. Gina shook her head, unimpressed. Wait, said Jax. You awake all this time? Thought I'd wait for you guys to come and find me, he said. You all need work on your tracking skills. Jax threw his hands up in despair, which is spelt wrong. Drum, Red said, holding Drummond out of the pool with one hand. That's not cool. Cool sounds a little bit too... I think. So we need to change that. That's not on. People have been worried. Still don't like that. Drum, that's not acceptable. People have been worried. Yeah, so it seems Drummond flashing a glare in the direction. Replied, flashing a glare of Jax and Gina. Marley was well aware that Drummond and the youngest members of the group didn't get along. They were barely at... Jax and Gina were barely adults. And he was a hardened soldier old enough to be their father. He seemed to resent the fact they laughed and joked, even if Jax got pretty annoying at times. doesn't matter about whether he does or not. He laughed or joked. He resented the fact. Hardly doubted that Drummond even knew the meaning of fun. Chalk and cheese is how she described it to Red. We're all in need of a good night's sleep. See, that's a tiny little bit, but it just kind of starts reinforcing the conflict within the group. We're all in need of a good night's sleep, she instructed her crew. Gather your things and let's get home. It's very easy to sometimes have these phrases like, oh, it's time to go home now, let's go. Oh, have you got the cheese? Have you picked up the tablecloth? When you should just cut the scene or cut it off there. So the way that I kind of stop missing all that is I use this insert of background information, a little bit of an information dump, not a huge amount, only need enough. They were all outcasts, brought together out of their inability or unwillingness to serve Laird Quentin. Each had their reasons. Drummond had been a soldier and it had left him so battle-scarred he'd vowed never to serve another man again. Gina and Jax were expelled from the estate for stealing, Red for losing his hand. He's changed sex. Her? So I'm just going to try and link it back to Marley. So that when we say and her, it's referring back. So they were all outcasts, brought together out of their inability or unwillingness to serve Laird Quentin. Marley knew each had their reasons. Drummond had been a soldier and it had left him so battle-scarred he'd vowed never to serve another man again. This sets up some conflict with him and Marley potentially down the line. Although you got that Lord of the Rings thing of I am no man. Gina and Jax were expelled from the estate for stealing, Red for losing his hand. Look, notice what we're doing here is we're really not going into details. It'd be very tempting to go, well, Gina and Jax, and kind of give this big info dump, but we've got the whole story to give that story. So, Red for losing his hand. How did he lose his hand? Why were they stealing? We're setting up questions for further down the line. And her. Well, if the lad could expel a man from his service from losing his hand, think what he could do to a woman who carried his illegitimate child. That had been over 30 years ago now. Her mother had died in the ruined cranny they called home 5 summers ago, and since then, she'd been in charge, welcoming new outcasts into her company, trying to keep them safe, and teaching them to stay alive. Laird Quentin's soldiers rarely came to this side of the mountain. Now, the reason we're going to have the soldiers here because they're going to have seen the light from the explosions. That's why they do come. All the arable farmland was the other side, leaving Marley and her friends to forage a life from the mountain slopes and woods. Still had to be careful. Red got caught poaching the winter before last and still had the whip scars to prove it. He was lucky. She knowed some of their number who had been hung, or worse. I don't know what worse was or thing, but it's just kind of like saying that we're establishing the dynamic with Laird, I suppose you still pronounce it Lord, Quentin. But it's still showing. What about the crystal? Jack said, as they ready to make the walk back home. They ready to make the walk back home in the dark. We know it's dark. They ready to leave. Look at this. Keep it simple. Oh, but I use leave there. Can't. Head home. Leave it, Red said. It's caused us enough problems already. But it's still shining like Drummond's nose when he got stung by that bee. Can't just leave it. What if a patrol comes by? Question. Then they can search for each other in the bog. Come on, guys. It's not even pulsing now. Jax was right. And Marley noticed that instead of being shaped in the shape of, it's now just an orb. Jax noticed as well. That was the cover coming off, that's all. It's free now. Jax leant over to pick it up. Do I do leaned? Jax, no, everyone shouted in unison. If there was one thing Jax was good at, it was keeping everyone's spirits up. He was a bundle of energy, always willing to entertain. What he wasn't was good at taking orders. He reached out and touched the orb. Everyone else cowered, ready to be flung off their feet again. They stood there for a few seconds, waiting for it, before realizing nothing had happened. Moonfather, Jax read curse. You had little faith, Jax said. I want to use replied for some reason. I will do this, and then if I read over again, I'll change it to said. Sometimes flip-flop between. You have little faith, Jax said, carrying the orb over to them. Jax said. Jax said Drummond. I told you it would be fun. Jax said Marley. It was something. It was just some sort of booby trap cover. We'd said that before. Doesn't matter really what you're saying here. What we're trying to get at here is that everybody's kind of. So what I've done is that first one I haven't got an exclamation mark. I've then got an exclamation mark there, and then I've got it in caps and an exclamation mark, showing that escalation. Jack! Shouted Gina at a volume that deafened everyone. It's deafened. Jack stopped in his tracks. What? He said. He turned round and looked behind him. It was as if the real world was a bed sheet. I'm trying to keep it really simple. That someone had cut with a knife. Through the tear, Jax could see sunlight. Said Drummond, walking towards it, unsheathing his knife. Drummond, stay back, Marley ordered. Drummond wasn't listening. The others were also approaching the tear with the same bewilderment. Marley tentatively followed. She could make out the light coming from the tear, and as she neared, she saw trees and plants the like she'd never seen. The sound of birds chirping. Something else. I don't want a roar of a creature because that won't work, because that will just put them off. What? What's the sound of birds chirping? Leave it for now. What is that? Red asked. Full stop there. Terrible footsteps. They circled it, the tear looking the same no matter where they stood. I don't know, said Marley, but it can't be good. So we've opened our first portal. This isn't to the world that we're going to be going to. The idea is that each time it's a different world. That will do, I think. That will do. So what I will do now is I am going to... I've got to get the video started uploading. That's recorded. So I will post this to the website. If you can get chapter 1 if you've missed it, and then what we are going to do is tomorrow at 3 p.m. we will do chapter 3. Chapter 3 is now about the tear. It's like tear though. You know when you write something and you think, did I spell that right? So, right, what we are going to do is we will leave it there. And we will carry on tomorrow. So we've split this chapter up. And that's okay. It's fine. Sometimes when you come to revision, you might make this bit tighter. You might do the whole search for Drummond. I mean, we don't really spend a lot of time on the search for Drummond. There is quite a bit of fun in there because I'm trying to make the characters interesting. You know, at least interesting in several ways. One, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of fun, showing a little bit of character, but also showing that relationship with each other. So, you think of like some really great shows where there's like a collaborative cast. Star Wars is a good example. Firefly, where the crew, or even Guardians of the Galaxy, where the kind of the gang kind of all rub each other up the wrong way. That's a fun thing to do. So so we are going to leave it there. I think that is enough for that chapter. So let's go to. So, right. Okay, thank you for joining. I will have this uploaded. It should be up before tomorrow's session at 3 tomorrow. If you have any questions, let me know. I am happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow for chapter 3, where we are going to look at the tear. We'll probably have them poke their head round, and we're going to have some soldiers turn up. Hopefully, finally. Delayed it. We're pushing it out and out and out. So originally I think we were going to have the soldiers turn up here. We're now into chapter 3. So it's, as I say, it's not because we're dragging it out. It's because it just makes sense. We want to kind of end each chapter on something that'll make people go, oh, what's happened and why is that, and on to the next page. So that's a good point to have a chapter break. So thanks everyone. I will see you all tomorrow for chapter 3. Hopefully I've got a little bit more energy because it won't be quite so hot, although it has dropped 3 degrees since I've been streaming, so that's good. So yeah, hopefully a cooler stream tomorrow, and I will have more energy, and I won't feel like it's going through treacle. We'll see. Thanks everyone. Have a great evening. See you.